Hi guys, so I'm Manisha Komal and I have done my MBBS from IMS BHU and waiting on my NEET PG or INI-CT counseling actually. And as I promised, I'm going to start this series of videos where I'm going to share about my preparation journey and how I made this jump from 15,000 rank in NEET PG 2023 to 202 in INI-CT May 2023 and what I did in these 2 months that helped me make this jump in my rank. So, without much ado, I am just going to tell you the points that I feel were helpful for me and certain things that I feel that if I had done, I would have performed better and what were the errors of in my preparation. Uh, so let's get going, and I do not want to waste much of your time because I know you all have to study. So I'm just going to tell you 5 points and break this entire, whatever I want to tell to you all into 5 points. The first and the most important thing of cracking INI-CT is believing that you can crack INI-CT. I think it was the most important thing in my NEET PG that I was doubting myself whether I can, get a good rank or will I get a good rank. But in INI-CT exam, before going for the examination, I already told the people around me that, I am going to go to AIMS, I'm going to go to PGI, and this exam is just a formality for me. So it's important that you have that sort of confidence and belief in yourself that yes, you can crack this exam. And believe me, this confidence was not from the beginning. I was also one of those students who never thought I could get into, I could crack INI with a good rank. But once I felt that I believed in this thing, I felt it brought about a lot of change into my attitude and my approach towards study. So that is very, very important. Trust me that half your battle is won when you start believing that yes, this exam is crackable and you can crack this exam. And with a better strategy, it is actually a more crackable exam than NEET PG, I believe. Secondly, is I did my main notes in those 2 months, which I feel a lot of people did not do due to time constraint. But I will tell you how you can do your main notes like really, really nicely and not have a FOMO. Because it was helpful for me in this year's INI because the questions were very unpredictable. It was not that much previous year topic or previous year question based. So for doing your main notes specifically for INI and those who are preparing for INI CT November, how I did it was I did, suppose I had to do biochem. So I did biochemistry recall videos of the previous year questions. And then I did biochemistry questions, previous year questions for at least, I think, 5 or 6 years. I did from 2017 to 2022 from the Q Bank. Watched the previous year recall, did the previous year Q Bank. Then I moved on to doing my main notes. That way, it took a lot lesser time because I already knew what to focus on, what kind of questions are asked from this particular topic in INI, how are they going to frame the question, how can you make a tricky question out of this simple topic. And you will also realize that once you have that approach, you will start guessing what questions can come in the next exam. And I did my revision also with my main notes only in this the second time, like right before the exams as well. In that way, I feel that you can brush through your main notes easily. If you had done them in your first reading already, then you can just focus on what topics are important and do them like really thoroughly, and your concepts with them should be really, really good. And with the rest of the topics also, you will brush through them, so you will not have any kind of FOMO. It will be like come what may kind of a situation. The third most important thing I feel that I did and really helped me was doing previous year question and previous year topics. The thing which is very important after doing previous year that I got was confidence. I did the PYTs and the PYQs twice before the exam, and that's I think that was one thing that really helped boost my confidence that yet yes, अगर previous year से कुछ आएगा तो वो मेरा गलत नहीं होगा. Like I had really mugged up all the previous year questions, gone through all the previous year topics, their explanations. Even what if this particular word is changed in this question, then the answer amongst those same options can be changed, or what you've rearranged the options, then the answers can change. Because sometimes what they do, they give you the same question with a slight twist, and you tend to do silly mistakes in them because you think okay, this is from previous year, ye to mere ko aata hai, get too excited and mark the wrong answer. So doing the previous year question and previous year topics is very important to give you the essence of what this exam is going to be about, how it is going to be about, how should you approach this exam, what should be your mindset. uh, for all those things, I think you have to do the previous year, and I would also recommend taking the previous year recall GTs. More than INI-CET GTs, I was not able to take all of them because I just had like 1.5 months in hand, and due to time constraint, I did the recall GTs. Despite doing the previous year question and the recall videos, I did the recall GTs from 2018 to 2022. And doing those GTs, I realized, okay, how I have to, do my questions in those 3 hours, how I have to approach, how I have to rule out, which brings me to my fourth point, which is that you have to train your mind right from the start as to how you are going to bring your best self out in those 3 hours. This is the most important thing. Trust me, because no matter how much you studied, no matter what all you have done, you have to be able to bring your best self out in those 3 hours, and you have to train your mind according to that. It is not something that will automatically happen to you in exam. It did not happen. My preparation, I think, was decent in NEET PG as well, but I was not in the right frame of mind. And having that right frame of mind, doing that mind training for yourself, I feel is very significant. And start taking these GTs in the morning slot on your laptop and not on your phone or iPad, so that sometimes you do like really silly mistakes, like you mark an option and you do not save and next and you just go to another question. That happened to me in the main exam also. So you take the GTs on laptop and you take it in the morning time. Try shortening your breaks while taking the GTs. Sit for 3 hours continuously, because you're going to do that in the main exam as well. And try training your mind as to how to rule out, how to take an educated guess, and how to come up with answers when you have less clue about the questions, how to correlate. Because no matter how much you studied, there will be 50, 60, or maybe 70 questions, especially in the INI-CET exams, where you will not know the answer, or you will not have much clue about the options, or the options will be very tricky. So training your mind that you do not get exhausted reading all those difficult questions and answers and the tricky ones, and do not get too anxious with difficult questions or too excited with the easy questions. So I think this mind training has to start from the beginning, and especially 1 week, 1 month, I would say, or at least 1 week before your exam. That strength of mind and your strength of persona has to really come up, and it has to come out, because INI-CET will not just test your knowledge; it will it will test what you're built of actually. So, and last thing that I would tell that I did, but not to go into any sort of FOMO. And if you have not done, it's not like you cannot crack this exam with that disclaimer. I think that for an extra edge, you can try doing first aid and BTRs. My main source of my notes was Marrow. I was a Marrow Plan C user since my end of second year, and I had made my own notes for almost all the subjects except for a few, and I did them. So I knew that my concepts were good, and my notes were in depth, and everything was going to come from there. But just from an extra edge, and just to keep certain important points in my head with respect to INI-CET exam, I did the BTR sessions and the top 25 most important topics that Zainab ma'am had put on her Telegram channel. And I still am a huge Zainab vora ma'am fan. And I did those, and I think they were actually helpful in my exam. Some questions I didn't think that I read anywhere else, but I could recall from her videos. Especially with respect to INI-CET, I feel that was really helpful. And first aid, honestly, I also did out of FOMO because all my notes were already annotated and done. But I did it for just, I think, 2 or 3 subjects. I did biochemistry, general micro, and psychiatry. And if you've not done first aid till now, I wouldn't say that go in a FOMO and do it. But if you want to do it, I will tell you how you can do it in a very crisp and short period of time. Because I also had a very short period of time then, like 1.5 months, and I wanted to do it. So after doing my main notes and going through all the previous year question, I just opened, suppose, biochemistry from my first aid, and I just quickly brushed through all the lines and just highlighted any new terms or any unique lines or any twisted line or say any diagram or flow chart that I felt could come directly from there or were not in my notes, and I feel that okay, इस चीज को ये इस टर्म में नहीं तो इस टर्म में चेंज करके पूछ सकते हैं, so I better know this term. So if you do it that way, it's going to take like really less time. I don't think it took me like more than a few hours to do biochem and psychiatry together. And in the last 1 week, even when I had to revise, I could revise it in a half an hour or something, because I just had to go through those highlighted points, which were like very few, because most of the things were already there in the question bank or the main notes. So just highlight those points, and if you have time and if you want that extra edge, then you can do it, because doing all of these things together, the pyts, pyqs, first aid, btr, mkts, and your main notes, will give you that confidence and that wholesome feel that you have prepared and you've done everything, and you've given your 100%, and now there's nothing that you will do that will, that you might regret not doing. So going with this confidence in the exam is, I think, really important for each and everyone who wants to crack this exam. And yeah, so I think these were the most important point I feel that were very significant in this change in my rank. And I will come up with in my future videos with more questions as to what was my source of preparation, how I went about what was my approach in the different subjects, how I did GTs, how I did Q banks, and how can one prepare from second year, third year, or internship, and so on and so forth. And yeah, for now that's all. I hope you guys like this video. Let me know what more you want to know from my preparation and whatever I can tell you. That will be all, I guess. And yes, stay motivated, keep studying, and just be happy, enjoy life at the same time. Don't take too much pressure. That's all. Bye bye, guys.